Hey gamers, JRenzo10 here, and today I'm back with more Cuphead content. No, it's not a Cuphead Let's Play. I haven't even completed my first casual playthrough yet. No, it's not any Cuphead voice acting skits. I haven't gotten any ideas or requests yet. Psst, comments down below. No, today I'm imagining if every boss from the Cuphead game had their own TV show, in honor of how Cuphead recreates 1930s cartoon style. Anyway, let's start with the World 1 bosses, obviously. The Root Pack is the first boss in the game, according to, well, the game. I don't necessarily find them to be the easiest, but they're certainly a good introduction to the gameplay. They were, however, probably the easiest boss to come up with the concept for. I imagine an episodic, light-hearted comedy series that doesn't have much of an interconnected story, like Phineas and Ferb. I imagine South Spotter being the normal one, the average Joe, who is by far the calmest of the trio. Ollie Bulb, the Onion, would be close to how he's depicted in the Cuphead show on Netflix. He'd be goofy, slightly below average intelligence, and very emotional. Finally, Chauncey Chatenay, the Carrot, would be the smart but eccentric and zany one. This trio could make for a lot of comedic skits, and heartfelt moments where the three see each other as true family despite being different types of vegetables could be sprinkled in there, but mostly just wacky fun. Next is Goopy Legrande, the bouncing slime who looks suspiciously like a Dragon Quest character. Based almost entirely off the second phase of his fight, I think Goopy could have a journey to become a boxing champion, where he prevails over legends such as, Punchy the Unpunchable Punching Booger. Yeah. Next we have Hildeberg, who is by far the most difficult boss of Inkwell Isle 1, and I don't want to see any arguments about it in the comments. Hilda could have a show where she, fulfills her destiny as a Star Zeppelin constellation person, or gets bitten by a radioactive Zeppelin? I don't know, the fight doesn't give me that many ideas. Moving on from that embarrassment of an idea, we have Ribby and Croaks, who could have a show like a mixture of the Root Packs and Goopies. Ribby and Croaks could journey to become boxing champions in a comedic movie or show. They have a lot of disagreements, but always make up in the end. Next is Cagney Carnation, who could meet the human who falls into the underground and realize his powers of determination were... Oh, sorry, wrong script again. Cagney could have a show where various people invade his garden, and he destroys them in varying ways. I guess, or maybe, I think he would just be best off as a side character in a show like that of the Root Packs. Or perhaps a plot where he steals the 6 human souls to become Omega Cagney. Starting out our World 2 bosses, Baroness Von Bonbon has a show where the stupid muffin cupcake thing from Sugarland Shimmy dies. A movie where she overthrows the leader of a kingdom with her candy powers and turns it into a Candyland thing. I swear I have better ideas for the later game bosses. Wally Warbles could have a show where he bonds with his son, perhaps meets a few other people while still keeping the cast small. Anyone who tries to harm Wally or his son gets walloped, and sometimes Wally is sad because his wife left him and he's a single parent. Jimmy the Great could have a show or movie where people summon him to get their wishes granted, but Jimmy winks at the camera before doing something funny that vaguely seems similar to the person's wish. Like, I wish to have $1 million, but a tsunami of coins floods the person's entire home and gives them many severe injuries because haha funny slapstick humor. Beppy the Clown would be the star of a horror movie where he appears out of a sewer to kill people and his presence is signified by balloon animals flying around. I guess. I don't know. Grim Matchstick has the first actually good idea in a while. Due to being so friendly under most circumstances, according to his game over quotes, I think Grim could have a Casper the Friendly Ghost style show or movie. He's frequently bullied by his fellow dragons for befriending humans instead of eating or burning them alive, but eventually decides to just leave the other dragons and go on adventures with his new friends. Aw, how wholesome. Moving on to World 3, I couldn't think of a good idea for Rumor Honeybottoms, but I suppose the Police Bee could have a show where he investigates the theft of honey a bunch of times, while neglecting to install proper security measures in order to keep the show running. My idea for Captain Brinybeard merges with my idea for Cala Maria in a similar way to something we'll be seeing with a certain other boss duo. Captain Brinybeard could have your generic pirate story, where he and his crew search for buried treasure, but supposedly the greatest treasure of all is guarded by a certain mermaid coincidentally the size of a certain mad scientist's giant robot. After finding the treasure, Brinybeard's crew is destroyed by Cala Maria, save for, of course, the captain himself. He finds himself a sentient boat and a few sea creatures to get revenge on the vicious mermaid Gorgon girl, starting a rivalry for the ages. Or something. Sally's stage play can have a show where she breaks people's legs. Where she rehearses for a play and a bunch of drama stuff happens, before culminating at the mid-series finale, where the play actually happens. Then she falls in love with the man who is acting as her husband in the play, and a bunch of romance stuff happens. I don't know. The next boss I'll be looking at is the Phantom Express. I don't really have any show or movie idea except perhaps characters from the previously mentioned show board the train and be weirded out by the staff due to them being undead and all. Finally, saving the best two for last, we have the German military rat Werner Werman. Werner can have a show where in the first episode he decides to leave his family to go to war and defend his home. And by home, I mean literally a house. He's a rat, and his living place is a cupboard in an abandoned house. I would assume he's either battling mice, bees because of rumor honey bottoms, or other rats who just don't like his family slash friends slash group. But remember when I said another duo of bosses would have a show that merges? Well, I was talking about Werner Werman and Dr. Cal. First off, I do think Dr. Cal could have a spin-off show of his own. The idea of an evil genius wielding a giant robot that shows signs of a sentience is a great TV show concept. It could be kind of like Invader Zim, where the protagonist is quite clearly also the villain. However, I think the show merging idea would be good as well. Perhaps while on the losing side of the war, Werner calls up his local junkyard-dwelling mechanical genius and asks him to create a robot cat to help him defeat or at least scare away his enemies. Really, either of these could work, and I would love to see them become actual shows. Really, I would call my Dr. Cal and Werner Werman ideas the best ideas I've had in the video. They far surpass my Hildeberg ideas. Anyway, this will be the end of the video. Yes, I'm skipping King Dice and the Devil. Their roles as antagonists in the Cuphead game and show are enough, although they would still exist in this hypothetical Cuphead cinematic universe. Anyway, this is JRenzo10, signing off. Så då är det färdböjning. Snämmaker för sig ska det dröja vi fem vi för nog vill sninna en att nämma och nissen att med en att nämma knä. Ma oj det sovnen det backar. Jag missökte så nätt och snä för då när också jag inte när så det var ingen av det. Så jag vet det blir fint att vi får och när nämma det skipsäge.